You didn't think it fit that way, huh?
No.
Make good for TV.
I mean, I could make a plate really quick, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, sounds good. Purrs like a little kitten. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed me and Merlin's trip to Utah to get the old tow truck. We finally got back late last night. Let me tell you something, it was hot. It was probably like, it had to be 180 to 200 degrees in that truck. The heat was coming through the stick. So where the shifter was basically just blowing heat. The desert was hot, but we made it back. The old truck made it, I couldn't believe it. It's just a lot of fun, and we're gonna keep doing those. Matter of fact, we got another one coming up that's all the way up, I think, in Oregon. That we're gonna go pick up and drive back, and we'll let you guys know probably through my social media. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you go to Instagram, WelderUp Vegas, and follow me on that. We do try to link it to our Facebook also, but if you guys are wanting to know what's coming up, you'll get a little bit earlier info on the story if you go to my Instagram. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, so today, Fitech fuel injection is coming to the shop. We're going to take the old 57 Chevy that you guys have been watching, and we're going to fuel inject it. So it's a stock 283. It's got a Power Glide 2-speed transmission. Everything is stock on this car. So basically what we're going to try to do is we want to fuel inject this thing, and then the car is actually going to be at SEMA in the Fitech booth this year at SEMA. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, is SEMA going this year? From what I heard, it's still going. I know that I'm already booked up on some signings that I got to do. So we're going to be there, but the 57 Chevy is going to be in the Fitech booth just the way you see it right now. I put a front windshield in it so I could drive it now. But everything else I'm going to probably leave alone. The only thing that we're going to change is fuel injection. So basically what we're doing today is we're going to fuel inject a 283 and show you guys that you could take one of these old cars and fuel inject it and make it a daily driver, because as soon as the fuel injection goes on this car, I'm gonna start driving this thing around. I've already drove it home. I'm trying to work the bugs out. It got hot on me the other day, so I had to flush out the radiator. I think I'm gonna put a different radiator in it so this thing will stay cool, because down here in the desert, you know, it's already 180 degrees on the asphalt, maybe 200 degrees, and all that heat just, you know, it never gets away from it. So I wanna make it so it'll run cool and run efficient, and with this fuel injection on it, I should be able to just hit the key, fire up, and run like a late model car. So it's gonna be fun. These guys are gonna show up today. Right now, I'm gonna walk you through what we're gonna do with this fuel tank, because it starts at the fuel tank, and you wanna have a clean fuel system all the way through when you start to install one of these Fitech injections. So let's go check it out. So here's what's so cool about Fitech. I called him up, I talked to Mike, I said, hey, this is what I got going. He sent me out the fuel tank and everything to get this car set up. So this is a 57 Chevy fuel tank. It's already baffled in here for your fuel pickup. So instead of going with a mechanical fuel pump like they do on the engine block on these 283s, there's gonna be a fuel pump inside the tank. And we've already, well, Cash has already modified this, but what we got here is your pickup for your fuel, and then you got your return right here, okay? And with this fuel tank, you've got your fuel pickup here with your pump, and then over here is your sending unit right here, And what I did is I just went to my old 57 Chevy gas tank, pulled the sending unit out of it, and if you can see right here, I cut this off. This is the pickup, and it's actually a lot longer. I cut it off, I welded it with some brazing rod to plug it, okay? And then modified the float just a little bit. It actually had a hole in it, and it still might. I might need to do a little bit of welding there, but this float is a factory 57 Chevy float, and the reason why I want to use it is because I know the ohms are going to be right for my fuel gauge inside the dash. So meaning that it'll indicate when the tank is full. Now, usually this floats way down here, but I bent it up because if it sits flat in here, you figure this is how it's going to sit, and when it's full, it's going to be up here, and when it's empty, it's going to be all the way to the bottom. So you just want to get the travel rate right on it. But anyway, this is going to go inside of here. There's a little baffle that separates it so your fuel's not sloshing around. This tank is a really well-made tank. It'll bolt right into the factory spot where the old tank came out of. So the first steps to me are to get this fuel tank in, get the fuel lines ran up to the front of the car, and this is where it all starts. We're going to be putting a new distributor in it today. We have to put, probably I'm going to install a different radiator. We're going to put the Fitech fuel injection on it. I'll walk you through that as we go. It's a pretty cool little setup on how this all works. To take a car that literally in 1957, they came out with a fuel injection in 1957, and it was it wasn't really a great fuel injection. A lot of those guys love to have them because they're very nostalgic. They're very collectible because they didn't make a lot of them. They were putting them on the Corvettes and the Tri-5 Chevys. Well, the 57 Chevy. You know, the fuel injection wasn't really dialed in back then. But over the years, I mean, you take something that literally nowadays looks like a carburetor. I'll show you this thing if you haven't seen one. I mean, what you got here is basically, it looks, once you put your air cleaner back on, you can't even hardly tell. But if you look at this thing, it's just really cool. It's simple. You can still run your throttle linkage on the side right here, okay? I've never personally put one of these on. I'm going to learn today a lot about it. But I know that if you've ever been in a car wash where you drive your car through a car wash and all the sprayers come out and they just spray on your car, well, inside of these Venturis right here is what it looks like. Each one of these is just showering gas in it, and it's feeding the engine exactly what it needs for fuel at that time. So like a carburetor, you know, you never know for sure if you're getting overfueled or underfueled. This here will tell it what it wants, and it will always stay consistent. But it's going to be cool. I'm excited to put this thing on today. You know, it's kind of funny, like when you put a fuel injection on this nice that looks like it's worth more than the whole car. So it's going to be kind of fun to do. So anyway, stick around. We're going to keep going. Okay, so everybody's probably wondering why I decided to do a Fitech fuel injection on this old car. Well, the reality is being able to take old technology that's 283 that really in 57 they came out with fuel injection, but it wasn't really a very efficient fuel injection, and they had a lot of complications, a lot of problems with them. And this late model technology on these old cars is very efficient. They make good mileage. They make your car way more dependable. Everything about it is a lot better. And you know, looking at it compared to the old style fuel injection, they were this big block, they were huge. It was gnarly. They look cool, but there was a lot going on there. This is so simple, and the way they have it set up right now, you can actually run it with, well, the distributor that we're gonna leave in it right now, few little modifications. I mean, you know, when you're trying to take something this, I guess, high tech kind of, and put it on an old motor, there is a few things that you got to do. I mean, you got to be somewhat kind of mechanically inclined to make this part happen with this old 283. But it's not that bad. It's actually, right now, we're like laughing our way through this whole process right now at this point. But this is my buddy Mike from Fitech, and we decided to get together and do this project on this car. It's kind of it's almost like the Project X57 Chevy that has been going on since, I think, the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, we had a clone for a while that we had our 2x4 on.
And and so what I'm doing is, this is my Project X57, and what we're doing is we're gonna start with this fuel injection just to see how it works, it runs, it performs. But maybe, Mike, you can explain a little bit more about it than I can.
There's a couple things. Well, first off, we upgraded the fuel delivery system. When you take something from modern technology like what we're doing with, you're gonna have to get rid of some of the old technology that's in there. One being the mechanical fuel pump. Not gonna work, right? We need 58 PSI. We need fuel injection. So we dropped the tank. We got a new tank going in. We got a new pump going in there. You did a little sending unit rehab modification thing that you did, which is what hot rodding is. It's
making stuff work.
Things together.
Yeah, it's making it work. Yeah.
But what's nice about our system, it gives you the tunability at your fingertips. You get a handheld controller. It gives you all what the engine's doing: coolant temperature, AFR, get your idle speed. So if there's something you want to change, you get to do it at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And then we're more precise. We deliver what's needed versus a carburetor is pull open a float and dump a bunch of fuel in.
Right.
If you got it right, you got it right. If you didn't, good luck. If you change elevations, good luck in a carburetor.
Well, and a lot of things is, and I know that a lot of people get confused on getting the Fitech system to work properly, because a lot of people don't understand that you have to fix all the problems around. They're so precise that they pick up on anything.
Yes, so a carburetor masks a lot of problems.
Right, a carburetor, you can basically, you can tune it in to make it run with it.
Doesn't care about vacuum leaks.
But you don't get the snappy efficiency with a carburetor. But what they don't understand is when they install these things, you got to make sure that there's other things that you got to make sure are right.
Yeah, no exhaust leaks.
Right.
We can't have any vacuum leaks. We got to make sure that we have the proper fuel pressure, 12-volt ignition system, good grounds. One of the huge things always gets us is grounding. What's a classic car have? What are you lucky if you have 2 grounds, maybe, right? Modern cars have 16, best way to say it.
Well, and that's why we were just actually building a ground strap from the carburetor or the fuel injection to the battery.
Yep.
So that way we know.
We have a cleaner signal.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to have nice ground, nice clean. The other thing is too is like old cars run points. It gives you an erratic ignition signal, and the Fitech is advanced enough, and all fuel injection systems are advanced enough. They pick up on those crazy signals, and they're going to try to adjust to it. So they see this sporadic signal, and it gives it a false sense of a 6,000 RPM run when you're sitting here idling at 800. It tries to dump the fuel for that.
Sure.
So there's things we have to do to clean that up to make fuel injection more reliable. And once you get to that point, man, you're going to notice when we go down the strip later on, you're going to hit that pedal and you're going to go, holy.
Wow. Right. And then also the emissions too. Yeah. I mean, you guys look at like the technology from the carburetor to fuel injection. Now fuel injection is so much cleaner, and it actually burns what it's asking for, not just burning fuel.
You can get more fuel economy. That's kind of the angle you're shooting at.
Sure.
You have the ability to lean it out as much as you want through the handheld controller. The other nice thing too, though, and we do notice this all the time, is guys call up and they go, man, I'm worst gas mileage ever. And we're like, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I get on it all the time now.
Yeah. Because now you're hot rodding it.
We're like,
well, that would be fun in this, but I don't know how long the Power Glide would last. So I'm just going to try to drive it nice. If I can get a burnout out of it, great. If I can't, it's okay. I'm just going to cruise it for a while. But
we can make that happen.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. So anyway, we're going to get back on this car and get it done.
We'll keep it in.
You want to keep that?
But that's your.
Do you have another one?
Recirculating
Do you have one
gas?
here?
I got a
It's the exhaust gas vent thing. That's crazy.
Right? Let's have exhaust right underneath the gas.
But yeah, the only concern that I kind of have is the butterflies might catch. And
That's
the
what I'm
spacer
thinking.
actually really helps with that.
Did you see the depth? And this enclosed.
So we just shove some rags in there and I'll just run a bead around it so it fills it up.
You're the welder. If they're gasoline soaked rags, that'd make good for TV.
I mean, I could make a plate really quick, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Just get a hole saw.
But that, I mean, if you make a plate, that'd actually work, and then we need some longer studs.
Oh, will the other plate work though? The one that we pulled up, that you pulled up?
And just go longer studs. I mean, yeah, there's the template right here. And just build a monster. This will work actually if we
There you go.
go that route. But we need some longer studs. You didn't think it fit that way, huh?
No, I was just looking at that, making sure it was sealed.
Yeah, it's all sealed back there.
Whole plate sealed.
We hope.
I mean, why do we even need?
We don't need this.
Yeah.
We can just use just that, I think. But I'm worried.
Is that the front or back?
Look, here we go again. I get to leave again, right?
You get to do your job.
There it is.
See,
I'm done.
we can plug this off.
Yeah, since we drained the coolant, let's do it. We'll
Okay.
take that
Take
out.
it off
We'll
real
weld
quick.
that.
Find out here in a minute.
Okay, so this is return side. All the systems are stamped.
Yeah, so
Return,
these three
return
are
only.
feeds, right?
Yep.
And that's
Yeah,
a
you can
return.
change that all around, whatever you want to do on those three. This one is always going to be returned.
Okay. So what we got is Maryland's.
We got to get the other half of these figured out.
Right here.
So he has those in his hand to start with.
Okay, this is where I'm kind of like.
Oh, it's only 2 wires. We're going one to the positive of the back.
What?
So is this pressure in right here?
Yep, that is it.
Okay, make sure I got a lot of slack.
I would just plug it in.
I think it just needs a little touch.
Got to be somewhat safe, right?
Oh yeah.
And it seems like a pretty straight shot. I guess. That was tight, yeah.
Need the keys. Yeah.
Aspartame?
Yeah.
Is it coming out of our? Yeah, we'll do like a little recap on it when we get ready on this shit. Hopefully. Oh. Oh, look at that. Fired right up. Holy shit. Fired right up. Damn, sounds good. Purrs like a little kitten.
You want me to do that again?
So what do you got going there?
This is accelerator pump stuff.
Oh,
You know, it's only at 100 degrees right now,
so get it out, let it warm
it's got to be
up.
up at least like 180 before I want to be like doing any tuning.
Right. Okay, so we got the Fitech put on the 57 Chevy. It went in pretty easy. I was surprised on how fast this went in. other than the fact that, you know, with an old car like this, you're gonna have to change some stuff. Number one, you gotta have a clean fuel system on this car. And so we put a new fuel cell in it, new fuel lines, a few fittings and things like that. But really, we kind of laughed and joked around and dinked around today and probably did this within, you know, 7 hours. And that was seriously like 2-hour lunch break, ran over and got some fittings. So if you do one of these, the next one's gonna be really easy. But it's really easy how it goes in. I'm seriously was a little bit more intimidated on installing the system, thinking that it was gonna be a little bit harder. But the car fired right up. We're getting ready to go for a little cruise in it. So we're gonna go, well, actually we need to go put some gas in it. So we're gonna take off right now and go see how it runs.